Operation Overlord was completed, also known as D-Day, Eisenhower wrote a note expressing the failure of the operation. He was so uncertain of the outcome, he was not at all confident that the Allies had won. He then found the same note 5 weeks later, and was still not confident about the battle's outcome, because of how close D-Day was. Using deception, the Allies were able to confuse German forces during D-Day. Throughout D-Day, the main struggle the Germans had was reacting to the delays and complications that the Allies had put on them, along with not knowing the Allies' next move. Before D-Day had begun, the Germans had a very tough time moving troops when the Allies impaired French communication lines. Movements that usually took a few hours took several days because of the damage the Allies had done. On May 7, 1944, American forces dropped 2,000-pound bombs on France. This bombing, along with a few others, left France down 74 bridges and tunnels, which resulted in northwestern France being completely isolated. These pre-bombings made it very hard for the German forces to recover. German forces failed to realize the main reason why they weren't succeeding in this conflict. In April, German Field Marshal Erwin Rommel said, "I know nothing for certain about the enemy." Creation of FUSAG was something that the Germans could not combat because of their belief that it was real. FUSAG, or 1st U.S. Army Group, was created to make the Germans believe that the Allies had created a base in southeast England. A faux camp was built, complete with inflatable tanks to fool the Germans. They believed the Allies were going to invade Calais, France, when in reality they had no plans to do so. The German 15th Army was positioned on the coast of Calais waiting to attack the 30 non-existent Allied divisions. Though the Germans did not know when or where D-Day was going to happen, they knew an invasion was just around the corner. The Germans' technology may have been good, but they could not improve upon their soldiers. Many of them were much older or in poor physical condition. By 1944, a quarter of their army was over 34. Germany also had quite a lot of sick soldiers, with reports of stomach pains. When D-Day actually happened on June 6, Germany had a bad start. Because of the bad weather in the morning, they were not expecting an attack that day. Germany found out there was an attack the moment they saw U.S. paratroopers landing on the beaches of Normandy. Germany was doing a poor job of protecting the beaches. They were outnumbered by the American and British Navy, and there was no way that they would get enough ships and submarines in the water in time to help slow the Allies. Germany's submarines that were in the water were doing little damage to the impressive fleet that was in front of them. Later, on June 22nd, the Allies attacked the port of Cherbourg. A very important French port. It only took the Allies 2 days to conquer it. As the conflict went on, the morale of the German commanders was starting to fall, making it hard for them to push their soldiers when they knew the fight was over. Erwin Rommel wrote a letter to Hitler saying, "In spite of intense efforts, the moment has drawn near when this front, already so heavily strained, will break." Rommel knew that they were going to lose, but Hitler still wanted Germany to push forward even after their staggering losses. At this point on, in July 21st, Germany had lost 2,117 tanks and 113,000 men. Even worse was that they only had 17 tanks and 10,078 men to replace the lost ones. In August of 1944, German forces were even weaker, and with Hitler still pushing on them, made the exhausted men unable to retreat. The Germans had no more air support, which made it nearly impossible for Germany to make a comeback, and as Overy puts it, German units fought with the frantic energy of a cornered animal as they began to sense their imminent defeat. German commanders stopped listening to Hitler because they knew he wouldn't stop fighting willingly. Gunther von Kluge, a German military leader, withdrew the 2nd Panzer Division without Hitler's permission. Hitler was extremely angry and ordered all other divisions to stay fighting. But with such little resistance, the Americans and British made quick work of pushing the Germans all the way back to Paris. German soldiers eventually retreated or fled on their own because they knew their defeat was imminent. One German soldier wrote to his family, "We are gaining ground rapidly, but in the wrong direction." Those that did not escape were taken prisoner. 45,000 German soldiers were taken. Germans were eventually pushed all the way back to the German border. Germany then surrendered on May 8, 1945. In Britain, German spies were being taken in as double agents. These double agents gave the Allies access to German movement of troops and supplies. With this information, Britain was capable of consistently reading German code by 1944. For the majority of D-Day, the Allies made it very hard for the Axis to improve their own forces or succeed in beating the Allies. One main goal of the Allies was to limit the German army buildup in and around France by utilizing the element of surprise and deception. The invasion of Normandy, Operation Overlord, was becoming more and more realistic, deceiving Germany and having more resources available than the Axis both supported the Allies to winning D-Day. With delays due to weather conditions, D-Day took place on June 6th instead of the 5th, with paratroopers landing on French territory. The Allies used 12,000 aircrafts to guarantee an advantage in the air compared to the Axis. In Utah Beach, the landing of soldiers in the wrong place had actually turned into an advantage. The conditions where the troops did not intend to land ended up being very calm with little fire as well. Not only did the Allies have a stronger air force, but they also had a stronger naval power due to the Atlantic Wall. All in all, Eisenhower's note was not needed at the end of D-Day.